Please be advised that the opinions and views expressed are that of the individual dancer and not necessarily a reflection or representation of the host. Any advice given in the podcast should be taken as friendly conversation and not professional help. All video content has been provided and approved by the individuals and should be viewed under viewers' own discretion. Let's get into today's podcast. Hi there, and welcome to A Dancer's Perspective podcast. I'm so excited for this episode because I'm with the lovely Danielle, who is currently on a cruise ship, and she has made some special time for us today in her busy schedule to talk through, what her experience is like through the process of getting the audition and getting the contract and now dancing and performing all around the world. So welcome, Dani. How are you, girl?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you at the moment?
I'm actually at a Starbucks in San Francisco. I do apologize for any background noise. Unfortunately, this was the best Wi-Fi, so here I am at a Starbucks. But yes,
You're so fun. No, well, we really do appreciate you coming to talk with us today.
cool.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are and your training background and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So hello. My name's Danielle. I've been dancing since I was like 9. Didn't know I wanted to dance for a career until I was 18, and my dance teacher basically forced me. She was like, audition, and I was like, no. Did it anyway, and went through 3 years of full time. A year and a half of it was in COVID, so that was fun. Didn't know, absolutely. Like, I think a lot of dancers also through COVID didn't know if they wanted to do it anymore, or the training was really hard, dancing in your living room if you didn't have enough space and things like that. But yeah, managed to push through it, and then auditions started coming back, and I did my first audition for Princess, the company that I'm currently with, and made it through and received a contract, and now I'm on my 3rd contract with Princess. So yeah.
Very, very
That's
exciting.
where I
Well, why don't we
currently am.
talk through the audition process? Like, how did you prep for the audition? How did you find out about the audition? And then
Yeah.
when you're in the room, like, any tips or anything like that helped you? Like, what's your perspective of that whole process?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really helpful nowadays. We've got a lot of Instagram accounts and email chains and Facebook groups that share a lot of these like public auditions. So a lot of them, especially cruise ships, a lot of them are very public, and you don't need an agent. So if you don't have an agent, you don't have to be worried about something like that. And you can just turn up with your resume and your headshot. So definitely when the Princess audition rocked around, I'm so sorry, it's so loud. When the Princess audition rocked around, it was a company that I'd never auditioned for. So it was a bit of the unknown, but they're all very similar, but all very different at the same time. So it's important to go in with an open headspace. So I guess that's like what I did, because I had been to a lot of auditions. I'm quite a short dancer. I'm only 5'4", and I'm not like the flexible type either. I would say I'm actually the complete opposite. I'm more of a stronger dancer. My body's built in a different way. So going to auditions for me personally, like Royal Caribbean, were not probably my type of auditions. And so going to those auditions, I found out what kind of dancers they were looking for. So then going to Princess, I had to keep an open mind, even with the denial of other cruise lines, thinking that they weren't all the same, because as soon as you have that mentality, you don't go to auditions, you're feeling negative about the way that you dance, which the way that you dance is different to the next person. Doesn't mean that you're worse, doesn't mean that you're better. It just means that you've got different styles and different performance qualities. And so going into Princess audition, I had to mentally, I think it's a massive mental thing, and you had to mentally prepare yourself to go into that audition. And so it's mainly talks of not putting yourself down, talks of, if I don't get this, it's okay. Talks of, if I do get this, that's also okay. And it doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else, doesn't mean that I'm worse than anybody else. It just means that I did my best, and I went into there and I if I get to do that as a job, I love what I do. And so that's kind of the mentality that I went into that audition with. And I think that's honestly why, not gonna lie, I feel like I did really, like, coming out of that audition, I did feel like I did really well. But of course, you never know. Sometimes you feel like you do really well, or you get to the end of an audition and you're like, that one was it. I'm going to receive a call, and then nothing ever happens. And it's happened with other companies as well. And that's unfortunately how our industry is. But yeah, definitely, you can do classes, like, obviously, like, the physical training is obviously very, very important, and doing training and making sure that you're staying trained in all different styles, and still making sure that you feel uncomfortable in open classes as well, because that's how you learn. You don't just do it in full time or when you're younger and then, everything set in stone. It's important to put yourself in uncomfortable classes. Yeah, it's a massive mental game. And I think a lot of people don't realize that until they start going to auditions and they start hearing no's, and then people drop out really quickly. But you have to hear a lot of no's before you get that yes. And sometimes you get that first yes and you go, great. First, like, I have a friend of mine years ago, did her first ever audition, got it. That was it. But then oh my gosh, so sorry. My gosh, my voice. But she did her first audition, she got it, she did that contract. And she came back, decided she didn't want to do that anymore, wanted to try something different. And since then she's heard a million no's. And a couple of weeks ago, she actually heard a yes. So yeah, but it had been like a year and a half. So, everybody's journey is different. And so you have to go into an audition and mentally prepare that your journey is your journey. And you just need to turn up. You just need to turn up, and you need to believe in yourself. Because when you do believe in yourself, that's like when you're going to show your true performance quality and your true technique. Because yeah, when you feel more confident, everything else is going to come with it. It's going to come naturally. The more you stand and you think like negatively about yourself, or you look at the panel and asking, oh, did I think I'm okay? Oh, that guy was looking at me. Oh, I don't know if they, at the end of the day, he could honestly be talking about the girl next to you, but wants to see how you're reacting. So, like, does it look like she cares? So you never really know what people are thinking. So it's important to just be confident with how you are. And go in with a good mental mindset.
Yeah,
Sorry,
amazing.
that was a very long answer, but that's my
It's
answer.
great. It's so many valuable things. I love how you said, like, just because you dance differently to someone else, like, doesn't mean that you're a bad dancer. That's just your flavor. And I think, as dancers, we're so, used to comparing ourselves and being like, oh, she's got a higher kick, or she's got a better body, or all this stuff we get in our heads. And I think how you put it is just beautiful, and how you were like, that's your flavor, and that's, you own that, and that's amazing, because everyone dances differently. And I feel like that's so special and something that we should all remember. So thank you for sharing that in that way too. That's amazing.
Of course.
I like to just dive a little deeper. Say, for example, I was going for a cruise ship audition. I have no idea what to expect. Can you talk us through, like, is it like 3 different styles? Like, what should I wear? That kind of stuff.
So usually for cruise ships, they usually have about 3 to 4 rounds, depending on the cruise line. Obviously, every cruise line is different. A couple of them usually start with like kicks down the room, like literally, from when you were like 5 and you just step kick down the room. Some cruise lines start off with that, and some cruise lines will like do it after they see you dance. So it just depends. Most of the auditions that I've been to, you've done 2 different styles. It'll usually be for a dance from one of their shows that are on their ships. So they'll usually be contrasting as well, so they can see 2 different styles or 2 different personalities. Because also, I think as a cruise line, they'll most likely look for your performance quality as well as your technique, but they want to see that you can deliver both, both different personalities, let's say.
Yeah.
So yeah, the princess audition that I had gone to, thank you for rolling your suitcase, sir. Across Less the gravel. But the Princess audition that I went to, we did it was like a pop song from one of their shows. So it was more commercial based, and then we did a contemporary. So it was two very different types, and one was very like in your feels, and the other one was very like I'm hot and I'm here and I'm ready to party. So there were
Yeah.
two very very different vibes. And then after we did that, it was a round of which I'd never actually done before, but it was instead of doing kicks and things down the room, we did leg mounts.
Yeah, right.
So we did ones to the side, right and left, and then ones to the front, right and left, and then we went into a split as well and just held it. Went to the left split, held it. But I know that like doing a royal audition, they just get you to do kicks, and then I think they get you to do a couple of styles. I think Norwegian, you usually just do a couple of styles. They might get you to do the splits. But yes, that's usually what it is. You usually will learn the combo, and then you'll do it a couple of times, and they'll do it in groups. But it's usually pretty rapid. There's usually a lot of people in the audition. Don't let that scare you. We just have a lot of people, especially in Australia, because companies don't come to us very often. So when they do come, a lot of people go to the auditions. Don't let that scare you. Focus on yourself. But yeah, so they'll usually do cuts. They usually do a big cut after the first round. It just tends to depend on how many people there are, but they'll probably cut half in the first round. They'll probably cut at least a quarter, sometimes half, depends what they're liking in the room. But usually at the end of the audition, you will end up with only a handful. I know at the end of my audition for Princess, I think there was only 7 of us. I've gone to the end of a couple other auditions, but it's usually about like between like 3 and 10 is usually what kind of ends up being left over. So yeah, and even still, when you get to the end of that, as hard as the industry is, they're like, "We like you. Thanks for the audition." You'll fill in a form saying when you're available, if you're interested in specific things. So like for me, I said that I was interested in the triple contract, which is what I've just nearly completed. So if they have different types of contracts and things like that, if you have tattoos, piercings, little bits and pieces like that, just things that they will need to know, your height, your weight, little things like that. And so then you will hand in that form, they will grab that form, and then they will go back to their office with it. And then you might, if you have an agent, they'll email your agent with a contract. You don't really hear from them until like they have confirmed that they want you for a contract. So you could get to the end of an audition and they loved you and you've signed this form and you're really excited, and you could also just never hear anything.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm so glad you also said that too, because so many people were like, but I got to the end of the audition, like, why am I not hearing? Like, it's just
Yeah,
unfortunately, like, that's just the reality.
it's just how it is. And I do have a good friend of mine, and this company loved her. She went to all the auditions. She always got to the end. They always loved her. But especially with cruise ships, because they have only so many cruise ships and they have only so many shows, most likely what will happen is that panel or the casting people from the cruise line, they will see you for particular shows. They'll watch you and they'll go, I like her for a random show. Let's call it Spectacular. I like her for Spectacular. She's got a sass. I think we'll like her in that show. But the thing with cruise ships is that once you're in their books, you're most likely going to keep getting offered different things. And so it's not until those people leave that you have an opportunity to come in, which is why cruise ships are hard, and which is why when people get to the end, they expect a contract and it doesn't happen for a while because, people that do cruise ships usually stay for a while. And they see you for that show. They go, I want her in this show. I want her in
Yeah,
this
right.
show, but we don't have the space yet because
Yeah, right.
no one's left, no one's quit.
Well, that's a good
Essentially, no one's
perspective.
retired.
That's a good perspective to have because, yeah, so many people must think, oh, like, why do they not take me? Like, why am I not going now? So it's really, really good to know that kind of different aspect of it too. So talk me through, like, so you've got the contract, everything signed, and I know that there's a process that you have to do, like a medical and everything like that. Talk me through the medical process, getting there, and then, the rehearsal stage, like, where do you stay? How long do you, like, learn the shows for? All that kind of stuff.
So so being at home doing your medical, um, now the medical, I thought it was going to be this easy thing. It was not. Um, to be honest, some cruise lines do like book your appointments for you. Some cruise lines don't, so it just kind of depends who you're with. And also some cruise lines only prefer specific like medical companies and like clinics and specific doctors. So that was the other thing. So when I got the list, I was like, cool, all right, I need to get a medical done. Cool, I'll just go down the road, pop into my local doctor, they'll do it for me. No, you had to go to a specific clinic in a specific area. And also some companies want you to do blood work, some companies want you to do dental, some companies are like, nah, we're good, just make sure you can hear and see. So it just depends with like which company you're with. I personally didn't have to do any like blood work or dental or any of that. I went into my clinic with my appointment. They did some like, we went into like a sound booth. I put some headphones on. They were like, click the button when you hear the beep, which was terrifying because then it was for 5 minutes and then I just heard ringing in my ear because it was dead silent. And I was like, well, is that a ding? I don't know. I had no idea. So but that was so much fun. Best time of my life. But so just like little things like that. But the medical was pretty easy. Otherwise, you pee in a cup. They got to make sure that your levels are okay, your eyesight's okay. You just do, like the pyramid of letters. So yeah, pretty easy. Honestly, the appointment's just the worst part of it. And also depending on what company you're with, they'll either pay for it on the spot or you'll pay for it and then they'll most likely reimburse you once you're on the ship. So you will, before
Yeah.
you do leave for your contract, you are out of pocket. It is hard, like, because you also you have like a month without pay. You're paying for medical, you're paying for, all these things that you probably have to get for your cabin once you get on board. So yeah, like the medical is quite expensive. So just keep that in mind. Like when you are going for your medical, if you're with a company that you have to pay for it before they reimburse you, it will most likely be very expensive. Because that was the thing that shocked me. I
Yeah,
was
right.
like,
Well,
cool,
that's
no
really good.
problem. And they'll like pay now. I was like, yeah, cool. And then I think it was like $800. And I was like, ugh,
You're like, oh, great.
literally. So yeah, so that was the medical, but everything
Yeah.
else was easy. It was honestly just making the appointment, and trying to get it as soon as possible because pretty much when you get offered your contract, it's usually like a month out from when you leave, a month to like 6 weeks. So it's fairly quick. So as soon as you get that call, you've just got to get stuff done because the people that leave it to the last minute, you're stressed. You're really stressed. So absolutely, as soon as you get that, get onto it straight away. Same with your visa. Your visa gets really stressful if you leave it last minute. I did literally when I got my offer, I did my medical on that day, and then I booked for my visa for it was on a Friday, so I booked it for the Monday, and that was like the best case scenario. Just because then you get it done.
Yeah,
If
right.
there's any delay in receiving it, because especially your visa, it gets stamped on your passport, so you need your visa and you need your passport. So as soon as you can get that done, the better. But it also
Yeah.
depends where you're going as well, so, and where you're working. So I have done all three of my contracts have been in the US, so I've needed a US visa. So I'd say they're probably the most strict. So it was a lengthy process to do it. But the companies will most likely send you all the information anyway, so you just follow it step by step. And just go through it. But just make sure that you're allocating time to do it as soon as you get offered that contract. Don't be like, oh, well, I've still got to work and I've still got to do this and that. Like, it's just much easier to be able to like get it done. And yeah,
Yeah.
if you need help, if anyone who's already like done it has done it before and can help you, that's always helpful, because I remember when I first did it, I was like, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, and like some of the instructions were confusing. So yeah, definitely helpful just to be able to let it sink in and do that there. And then rehearsals. So I had a weird situation. We had a new cast come in. So Princess had built a new ship, and that cast were coming into the studios. But there weren't enough apartments, so my cast got put onto a ship to actually do rehearsals. So I was only in LA for 2 weeks, and then I did 4 weeks on a ship doing rehearsals, which
That's
is
amazing though.
yeah, which was great. I mean, it made dancing on the ship so much easier because we learnt dancing on the ship, which was great. But as a regular cast, you will do rehearsals for about like 6 to 8 weeks. And it's pretty much like 9 to 5. It'll be like Monday to Friday. They only very irregularly, I can't say the word, irregular, no,
Regularly? Regularly?
yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They very rarely, thank you, that I should say that word instead.
That's better.
Very, very rarely will they have you in on a Saturday. So you'll get weekends off. You do Monday to Friday. It is like 9 to 5 though. It is, straight into it, but it's so much fun. Your body is sore. You're so sore all the time because it's just so intense. And you'll get straight into auditioning it. You'll get straight into partnering with people. One of the first shows that I learned was called Encore, and it's a massive, like, very ballroom style show. And so the first dance we did was a rumba, and so a rumba is a very, very sensual, very, very sexy dance. And so
Yeah.
we met these people 30 seconds ago, and now we're slow dancing to a rumba with them. So you have to like get straight into it. But yeah, rehearsals are very like intense, but they also let you get to know your cast like a lot quicker. It's not like a normal job. You get to know them very quickly. But yeah, just got to get straight into it. I remember like who is now my best friend now, was the guy that I just was standing next to, and they were like, find a partner, and I was like, hi, I'm Dan, and he was like, Lucas. I was like, nice to meet you, and then I had to touch his chest. So like you just had to go into it. You had to go straight into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so rehearsals are usually between like 6 to 8 weeks long. 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then you get your weekends off and you get your nights off. So yeah, people do things all the time. You get to explore where you are as well. So most companies do like Miami. We were in Santa Clarita. I think we're now moving, so we're now going to be in Miami as well. But yeah, so you get to explore the area you're in. So it's a great way, especially as Australians, like to go there. Like it's awesome because you just get paid to be there. So yeah, rehearsals are great. Love them. Honestly, probably like the most fun. You're learning all the shows for the first time. And it just depends again on what ship you're on or what cruise line you're on. I learned 4 shows when I was in rehearsals, because we have 4 shows in the ship. I know a couple of friends of mine do other ships, and they do 2 shows because they have like another cast on there that are like aerialists or anything like that. Or they have like a showgirl cast and a regular cast. So every like ship and cruise line is different. So it just depends. But yeah, so within 6 weeks we had learned 4 shows. So yeah, but that was my rehearsal period. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And is that also, so I know you've done 3, you're on your 3rd contract now with them. Is that in
Yeah.
between each one? Have you learned different shows so you have to go back to LA? Like how do you manage going from one contract to the next, and how long is your break to learn and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so my contracts that I've done are like a weird exception. Princess call them a triple contract. So it's like 3 in 1. And so because we all know which ship we're going to next and we travel as a cast, at the end of my first contract, within the last month, we had someone come on board and someone came and taught us our new show. So with the triple contract, there's one show that links all three contracts together. So for me, that is our show. It's called Magic to Do. It's like this musical theater. It's written by Stephen Schwartz. It's amazing. Love it. It's very musical theater. But that's the show that links all three ships together. And then we had we had two shows. One was called Sweet Soul. So it's very like Motown feel. We had a disco show, which is so very disco. And then our other show was Encore, which is the one that I just talked about, where I, essentially had to dance with my best friend for the first time once I met him. So after that contract, that show gets dropped and we pick up another show. So then we learn that new show that we danced on our second contract at the end of our first contract whilst we're still working on that ship.
Yeah, amazing.
So we're doing, so we're still doing everything, still living on the ship, still working on the ship, still doing shows, but then we're also just learning a new show. So it is quite intense, but it's super fun and it mixes it up a little bit. But because it's with the same cast, it makes it a lot easier. You know who you dance with, you know who you work well with. And so they'll most likely just be like, cool, I'm going to pull you here, I'm going to put you in here. Tracks are really easy to cast because that teacher will most likely already know who you are. But that was pretty much it. And then same thing from the last contract that I just did to this contract that I'm currently on, we dropped 3 of the shows and picked up 2.
Right.
So currently on this ship that I'm on right now, I only have 3 shows, but 2 of them are new. And only one of them, which is the Magic to Do one, is the same. But otherwise, that was pretty much it. But a lot of the times that's not a regular occurrence. That's just how mine works on the triple contract. Otherwise, you'll go home, you'll have a couple of weeks break, and then you'll come back to the studios.
Yeah, right. And did you find that you were working with the same people, like the people that have the triple contracts, they all stay with one another on the same ships? Or did you find like you had castmates coming in regularly and you had to change, like people were just coming in left, right, and center kind of thing?
We had, the only thing with a triple contract is obviously it's trying to commit to a year and a half. So we have had quite a few people drop out, not because of anything. They just didn't want to. Ship life is hard. Ship life is not easy. It's also a very weird lifestyle. So with that, we had in our first contract, we had one of our dancers wanted to do Broadway, so she wanted to start that up, so she dropped out. We had a couple in our cast from Italy. They were beautiful, but they had done ship life for basically a year. They were just on a contract with a different company, and then they came over, and then they did another 7 months, and they were done. They couldn't do it anymore. They wanted to go home, so they quit as well. So then we got 3 new people for my second contract. Then my second contract, we had 2 of my really good friends. They were a married couple. They'd been dancing on ships for like 8 years, and they had a couple injuries and stuff, and they were going to finish on the ship that I am on now, but they decided that that ship was their last one. So they quit after that. And then we got a new couple on for the cruise ship that I'm on now. And they are brand new to the company. They came on the ship. They didn't know anything, didn't know any of the bumpers, didn't know any of the shows. They had to learn it all on the ship like this. So we were also in a reblock for majority of this contract. And then we also had a dancer leave us as well. So then we went back into reblocks. So things tend to happen. It just depends. Some casts go through a lot of things, and if people like at home who are sick, they can be medically signed off to go home. So then you lose that person, whether it's for a period of time or for the rest of the contract. It just obviously depends. But so you do tend to lose people and gain people, and be a person down. So cruise life is very up and down. It's not it's not an easy thing. We don't have swings on the go. Some companies do for especially singers. Some cruises do have singer swings who are also like dancers, and then they have the reblock versions if they need to go in for people. But with my company, we don't. So if a person is out, you have to reblock, and then you have to stick with that. You got to remember things. You got to dance with different people. You got to fill in. You've got to know extra parts. But yeah, that's essentially how that works.
Well, Dani, I really think we should do this in like a two-part series. Like, I really don't want to rush through this because I think this is something that dancers want to know a lot about. So, if it's okay with you, I'd like to do what it's like on a cruise ship next time and like your life and, what you do day to day and everything like that. But to end this episode for part one, what we like to do is we like to say if there's a dancer listening to you and they really want to do what you want to do, what's three things you would tell them leading up to maybe like the audition process, how to stand out, and then three things that will help them in the learning of the shows and getting the visas and everything like that?
First thing, honestly, is I think I used to do this all the time. People stress way too much about what they wear to an audition, and honestly, it doesn't matter. If you feel confident in what you wear, whether it's a color or if it's leggings or if it's fishies, whatever makes you feel like you and is gonna, not restrict your movement is what you should wear. Because I think people ask me all the time, they go, I don't know what to wear for if it's cruise ships or musical theater or anything like that. If you feel confident in what you wear, you're going to feel confident dancing and it's going to show. So that's my number one. Wear something that you feel confident in. Don't wear a hot pink set if it's going to make you feel like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. I'm wearing hot pink and she's wearing black and she's wearing this and blah, blah, blah. If it's going to make you feel terrified, it's going to show when you're dancing. So don't wear it. If you want to wear a hot pink top and some black leggings, go for it. If you want to wear high-waisted fishies and a heel, go for it. Honestly, feeling confident is what is going to give you the job. It's what's going to get you the job. So number one is just wear something that you feel confident in, because that was a massive thing for me. I always felt like I was not wearing the right thing, or I was wearing what my agent told me to wear and what she thought would get me the job, and I never wanted to wear it. And I would always feel uncomfortable. And I'm telling you right now, I went to that princess audition and I wore my lucky crop top and I was like, I want to wear this, get stuffed. Wore my black leggings that I wear all the time to the gym, so I knew how they felt and I knew how they fit on me. And that's what got me the job, because I felt comfortable in it. So that's my first thing. The second thing is keep training, and that's physically and mentally. To try and dance as a career, it's a massive hurdle. It's a massive mental thing. A lot of people give up on it way too easily. But it's having the mentality that you still want to do this, and then making sure that you're keeping up with classes. It doesn't mean you have to do 5 classes a week. It doesn't mean if you didn't do a class that week that you're going to fail or that you're not going to get the next audition, because sometimes life gets ahead of us. But as long as you know that you're getting what you need during, let's just take it week by week, that's what's going to get you prepared for that audition. When you're auditioning for these jobs, let's be honest, you've been dancing since you were 3. You've got the technique. You've got it. You know what your sauce is. You know what your flavor is. You've got it. It's all in your head. And I think a lot of people don't realize that until they've been to a couple of auditions and they've been told no a couple times. It does decrease the way you think when you're in an audition. So mentally training yourself, mentally making sure that you are also okay. Go into that audition making sure that you believe in yourself, that you know what you're doing, you love what you're wearing, because once again, confidence and expressing that self-love is how you're going to get that job, because people are going to watch you and they can't stop watching you because you love what you're doing. That's what it is, because when you're performing, that's exactly what it is. Whether you're portraying a character, if you feel like shit that day and you're portraying a character, that's what people want to watch. You could have the highest kick ever, you could be doing flips and aerials and all these things, but if you don't feel good about what you're doing, and you don't feel good about yourself, or you're in the middle of your area, you're thinking, I hope they're watching me right now. You're taking away, they're not gonna they're not going to look for you because they're not going to like your energy. It's all an energy thing. But honestly, every single time I feel confident in an audition because I've gone, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I'm here because I want to do this. If this is not for me, it will not work out. And if it is meant to be, it's meant to be. And every single time I do that, it has worked out. So yeah, stop worrying about what people are thinking. Who cares? Just go out there and do it. Like that's my biggest piece of advice. Like if you want to do it, just do it. Which leads me on to my third thing. I personally, like, growing up, like, didn't have, like, dance was not a career. Dance is not an option, right? Like they didn't know it was a thing, then realized it was a thing, was told not to do it. Essentially, as a big summary, was told not to do it, not to pursue it, and so I really loved dance, and I knew that I had a really big passion for it, and I knew that I was, I was pretty good. I was all right, and growing up, I was just like, well, it's not a career, and I can't do it, and it won't work out for me. And my teacher at the studio that I was at, it was like the high school version of like the full time. And she was like, there's an audition this weekend. It's literally when your hip hop class is. She was like, just do the audition. And I was like, no. And she's like, you're doing the audition. And I was like, okay, sure. And you know what? I went in there and we love our teachers. But I went into that audition when I was 18, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. We're just gonna be here because I knew who the teachers were, and the panel didn't really scare me because I was like, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a dancer. No, I want to go into business. I was like, this isn't for me, even though I knew I wanted to, but I was told that I couldn't. So, and so I did the audition, obviously got in, did full time, and here I am. And everyone who was like, dance is not a career. Now I'm traveling. Now I'm dancing. And, like I'm living the life that I knew that I was always meant to. So if people are telling you no, if people are putting you down, if it's what you want to do, just go, excuse my French, but just go and do it. Like, go and fucking do it. Like, that's the best way that I can put it. Because like, if you want to do it, you want to do it. Make it happen. Make it happen as much as you can. So,
yes, I love that. I love that. And like, look at you now, girl, getting literally paid to live your dream life. And, you look incredible, and everything that I see on your social media and stuff like that. I'm so super proud of you. And I do miss you a lot. Like, that's the downfall. Like, you're so far away. But it's okay. It's fine. She's going to come back and visit, and then probably got another contract.
I'll be back. I'll be home soon. It's okay.
Yeah, like 2 weeks or something like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
No, I really do appreciate you coming on and chatting with us, and I can't wait for you to come back for part 2. I'm really, really excited to hear all about that and everything. So thank you again, and yeah, we'll speak to you soon.
Yes, no problem. I'll see you soon.